Welcome to the Missouri Baptist Football Coaches Show. I'm Harry Schroeder, head coach. Jason Burianek is with us, and now we're getting ready for a spectacular football season. Anticipation here on the campus is amazing. People are really stirred up about Spartan football. And Jason, before we talk about the team and the season, a lot of people are going to be new to Spartan football. Tell us, how did you end up here? Why Missouri Baptist for you? And then in turn, what are you telling players? What are you telling the kids you've been trying to get to come?
Yeah, well, I mean, Missouri Baptist, the truth is, you know, we were looking for a job. I was at McKendree University and we had a coaching change and was out looking for a job, and it just so happened that had some people that I knew that were tied in here at Missouri Baptist, and it was they asked if I was interested, and I said absolutely, and came over here on an interview and just loved the campus. You know, I thought it was a gorgeous campus and a great location. The opportunity to be a head coach and to start a new program was very intriguing. And so the more I got involved and got to know people here, I just realized it was a great opportunity for me, and that's kind of what brought me here.
And so you're here and you're trying to build this program. You've got your first year of recruits in last year. You've got to be excited. You've got a whole team, and you're actually going to have some games now. That's got to be just a different transition for you. The energy level's got to be high.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. You know, when we look back a year ago, and we walked out on the field, and it was really the last week in August. We walked out with 42 guys and stuff, and we were going to have our first technically practice, and we had 3 coaches. And then a year later, and we walked out, and we had 9 coaches out on the field. We were starting in early August for 2-a-days, and there was 95 guys running around. I looked at one of the guys who was with us last year. I said, "It looks a little different, huh?" And I said, "It must be nice because you don't have to take every rep." He said, "Yeah, it's really nice." So it was when it kind of started to become real, you know.
I don't want to talk about the game with SEMO yet, your opener just yet, but you guys have to be very interested in hitting somebody else instead of each other.
Oh, I'm sure the guys are eagerly awaiting. I was walking by a couple of them earlier today, and they're like, you know, we got 1 week, we got to really start turning it up, you know. And I think they are getting eager. It's kind of that time in camp, you know, school started. They're ready to play. You know, we still got some more work to do, but they're definitely ready to see somebody in another jersey for sure.
A lot of people that are going to watch games on the Spartan Digital Network, they're used to the NFL. They're used to Colorado, you know, big-time college football. And so what they think about is, man, the most important position is quarterback, and you have a pretty good quarterback in Demarco Bills. Tell us a little bit about him, young man that played here locally in St. Louis and had a really nice high school career.
Absolutely. You know, we actually have got 4 or 5 really nice quarterbacks on the roster right now. You know, a lot of local kids. Demarco's the guy who's kind of emerged as the starter right now, and a lot of that was he was with us last year and had an opportunity to get involved in the offense, which is critical. He's a career academy graduate from right down in the city, and really when you look at Demarco, I mean, he is a prototypical athletic looking quarterback and got a really strong arm. So, you know, the biggest thing that we're working with Demarco is just the fundamentals, fine-tuning his footwork and fine-tuning his reads, you know, so that he can deliver the ball. You know, he's got the strength to do it, he's got the accuracy to do it. It's just making sure he's making the right decisions and you know, ultimately managing the offense. The thing we tell him all the time, he doesn't need to win us a ball game. All he needs to do is manage the offense, move the chains, and play within the system. If he does that, you know, I think he can have a lot of success.
Ran the ball very well at Miller Career Academy, threw it well, 38 touchdown passes his last 2 years there. And so he's a guy that we know that can produce. You guys are going to run this West Coast offense, which I think of power running and dink and dunk, those kinds of things. To accomplish all that, your big uglies have to do something pretty well. Talk about your offensive line.
Yeah, you know, we have, first and foremost, we have a really young coach. He just graduated from Illinois College, Coach Travis James, running our offensive line, and he is a very, very talented young coach. You know, a lot of energy, very knowledgeable about the game. Our offensive line is really led by our right tackle, Frank Campbell, and our center, Matt Cleaver. Matt was our first ever signee way back in the summer. Long time ago. Yeah, it's been almost a year and a half now, you know, is when we actually signed him. But he was here all last year, signed him like in April of 2013, and now he's ready to go for us out of Moberly, Missouri, so he's kind of a local guy. We've got great ties into Moberly High School with Coach Ambrose and down there. And then Frank Campbell, who's a Muscuda graduate originally, he kind of comes in as a transfer. He had ties with Coach James, and we were able to land him. And, you know, those two guys are really the anchors of that offensive line. But we've got some really nice talent. Our left tackle, Colton Tremaine, was probably probably one of our top signees out of this class, out of Moberly as well. So we're excited about what they can do. And the biggest thing right now is our depth. We need more depth at our offensive and defensive lines.
On the defensive side, you guys are going to run a 4-3 defense, and when I think 4-3, I think middle linebackers, and you've got a really good middle linebacker.
Yeah, we do. That it goes back to the ties. When I was teaching and coaching at Belleville West, I coached Tremont Davis, who's our middle linebacker, starting middle linebacker. Also coached Kiaji Allen, who's also another inside linebacker. They are tough, hard-nosed guys. They probably don't run as well as you'd like for, a really big-time, big-level middle linebacker. But for a school like us, they know what they're doing. They're smart, intellectual, hardworking guys, and they'll make good plays in there. So we actually got Tremont as a transfer from McKendree University, and Kiaji came to us straight out of high school.
You guys have a very difficult opening game. You guys are going to play Southeast Missouri, and obviously athletic director Tom Smith did something really wrong there to get that on your schedule, right? Actually, you made that schedule, I know. I just wanted to throw Tom under the bus somehow. But talk about playing a big-time school, Ohio Valley Conference school like Southeast Missouri, Division I school, right out of the box. I mean, do you have death wishes? I mean, tell us about the wisdom for that.
Well, it's a catch-22. When we were sitting down making the schedule and trying to get a jump on things, we are in an independent university right now, so we're not in a league until next year. So, as I'm putting the schedule together, we were sitting in like February with about 5 games, and pieces fell. We were able to get a 10-game schedule. SEMO called out of the blue. Their AD called me, and with a guarantee money, they play the week after us. They play the University of Kansas. So what they do is they take some of the guarantee money they get from Kansas, reinvest it in playing a Division II or an NAIA school, and they called us and asked if we were interested. And as a new program, it's probably not the best thing, but as a way to supplement our budget a little bit, it's definitely going to be a positive thing. Our guys were really excited. Everybody that was on our team, we went to them and said, this is what's in front of us. Is this something you guys want to do? And they all just went crazy on it. And so we agreed to do the game. So, it's going to be a tough one. There's no doubt. Physically, our offensive and defensive lines, we're not as big as they are. They've got really large running backs. They've got a running back that's like 250 pounds back there and can move the ball pretty well. So it's going to be a challenge, there's no doubt about it. But what we've preached to them, from the moment we scheduled that game on, is that it's an opportunity for you guys to see how you measure up. We've got to do some more work in picking up the speed of the game. But, we also want to challenge our guys, because you can go into a first year and come out with a false sense of security. If you play a lot of weaker opponents that, or a JV schedule, a lot of community colleges, you can come out of that season and say, yeah, we're doing pretty well. We wanted to challenge ourselves. The league we go into is one of the top leagues in the NAIA, so we need an idea of where are we really at, where do we need to recruit to, so moving forward we can get to where we ultimately want to be.
Final question. We talked the other day about how are you going to measure success? Yeah. First-year program, and it might not be wins and losses. It can be wins and losses, but there are other things. Talk about that.
Yeah, we got to find, kind of the win within the game, so to speak, because with our schedule, there's going to be games that we don't win on the scoreboard. There's going to be games where we're maybe not as close on the scoreboard as what we would hope going into it. This first one's a great example. But what we preach to those guys is just being prepared. Let's not beat ourselves. Let's be sound fundamentally. Let's be sound in our scheme and knowing what to do, so that when we come out of there, we can turn the film on and say, what, we were doing what we could. We were just outmatched. Our left tackle is a great example. He's not the biggest guy right now. He's a hard worker, does things right. But right now he's about 265 pounds. We get him into the system. He'll, by the time next year rolls around and in his junior year, he'd probably be about 285 and be a really nice player for us. So what we got to see is he taking the footwork that he's being coached to do, and on down the line. We talk about 3 things: train plus work plus preparation equals a win. And those are the 3 things we want to do. We want to train as hard as possible, put in the work necessary, and come out being prepared. And if we can do those 3 things, then it's going to be a win. And hopefully that there's a few of those games we look up on the scoreboard and we're ahead as well at the end too.
Thursday night, the 28th, Southeast Missouri, and then all of the games right here on the Spartan Digital Network. Jason, it's going to be a great season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Keep it tuned right here to the website, and we're going to be bringing you all the games. Thanks for watching. You've been watching the Spartan Digital Network.